Simple issues like getting spare parts stored in India for aircrafts. Till last budget, the MROs could only store an aircraft part for 3 months. Even aircraft part, aircraft is a very wonderful bird with so much of machine, thousands and thousands of parts. Many of you youngsters would be knowing that. So a part can be imported and kept here without excise duty only for 3 months. And it took almost 1 year and 14 DO letters. Again, for people who are not in the ministry, youngsters, we'll corrupt you with all those technical terms of the government. DO letter is a demi-official letter addressed by name to a person in the Ministry of Finance. 14 letters I had written to convince him that, Bhaiya, please increase it to at least 1 year. And last year they condescended to make it to 1 year. I don't know why this logic of 1 year. Because after 366th day, the component which is imported and kept here becomes taxable. And nothing of this part can be used in any other aircraft. And it is not manufactured here. There is no possibility of, that I'll come to that later on, of being manufactured here. But then that's what the rule says. And the best part is, it took very difficult to convince them that 25% of zero is zero. They say we are losing revenue, 25% will chala jayenge. So I have used this term. This is a goose which will lay golden eggs, agree, but let this goose grow up. अभी तो उसको बचाए उसे मार देते हैं. So there is not this industry doesn't grow up. So I have been always telling that अंडा देंगे, golden अंडा देंगे, but अभी तो कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है. You have to let it grow for 5 years. So I have requested many letters asking government to give at least 5-year tax holiday for this industry, MRO industry, and let it grow up and establish our this potential here, and then probably we will be able to convert, as Bharat says, maintenance repair overseas to maintenance repair in our country. So that MRO will soon become maintenance repair in our country rather than maintenance repair overseas. Now, these are some of the vague logistics which Finance Ministry is considering, and the biggest problem with the civil aviation or aviation sector is the perceptions. Civil aviation, when I walked in, Pritam was telling that point A to point B you can go by any mode, bullock cart or by rail or by plane. But the perception is that Aam Aadmi goes by bullock cart and very rich people go by flight. So there is nobody, no politician would ever take cudgels on behalf of airline industry, because it is not politically very correct. ATF cost is very high. Yesterday I was telling, the cost of ATF in Calcutta for 1 kiloliter is 87,000 rupees, whereas in Bangkok and other neighboring countries it's about 51,000 rupees. It's 30,000 rupees per kiloliter of fuel, and you know how much tons of air is fuel is burned every day by this Indian aviation sector. So that's the difference. Cost 30,000 rupees per kiloliter is the loss of. So that is another story why Finance Department and all are not able to reduce the tax in that. Because politically people will not be able to make pressurize them to reduce the cost of taxes on ATF. You increase the tax on petrol by 1 rupee or diesel by 1 rupee, there will be a lot of bandh all over the place in the country, telling Aam Aadmi is suffering. But what the ministry normally does it, they reduce the cost, increase it in petrol, then after some bandh they reduce it and then increase of the ATF cost. So somewhere they have to make good. That is all made good by in the aviation sector. So that is exactly why when we discussed this issue last time, one of the senior officials said that it's a matter of optics. You know what is optics? Optics is it should sound good during election year, around a year. you should not be seen favoring rich and high class elite. But unfortunately, the statistics says that in India now 77% or 80% of the operations are run by the low cost carriers, where a lot of Aam Aadmi flies. This is one biggest problem of the sector, is the perception that it is an elitist industry and everybody has a lot of money to pay. We are trying to change that perception, telling by statistics that these are the type of people who are flying, and hence the operation cost have to come down. Now, why this operation cost is important is, in an aviation sector, the Indian aviation sector, the cost of operation is at least 60 to 60% more than about the neighboring countries. Partly is because of the high ATF cost, and 60% of the 70% of the industries, aviation industry is handled by the dominated by dollar payments.